The ever-intimidating Fate franchise. There are countless memes stating that it is nearly impossible to start watching Fate due to the fact that there are multiple possible starting points and starting from any of them will net you the ire of the fandom. You start from Fate Zero, they will laugh at you. If you start from Unlimited Blade Works, they will laugh at you. If you start from Heaven's Feel, then you are the clown. But I genuinely think that they are missing out because underneath all these complications, there's this fascinating world that is one of my favorites in this medium, and I just want to share why I love this franchise so much. I'll put this out of the way. Despite making a watch order video myself, I firmly believe that there is no optimal way to start Fate unless you start from the visual novel, and that is a commitment I will not impose on anyone watching this. Fate Stay Night was a visual novel for adults that was released back in 2004, and it revolves around this battle royale among 7 mages that uses these powerful familiars called servants to fight for the Holy Grail, a magical wish-granting device. And these servants are heroic historical figures from all of time that is manifested by magic. One of these servants is the patient zero of the Saber phase, Arturia Pendragon, aka Saber, the waifu King Arthur, who was summoned by a novice mage, Emiya Shiro, the poet, with such genius works such as people die when they are killed. And just because you're correct doesn't mean you're right. Shiro allies with another mage, Tosaka Rin, aka Best Girl, and her servant Archer, who is incredibly OP only when he needs to be, and they will try to survive the Holy Grail War together. After this point, the story splits into 3 distinct paths. Fate Route, where they'll make Saber Best Girl, Unlimited Blade Works, where they'll make Rin Best Girl, and Heaven's Feel, where they will make Ryder Best Girl, and Sakura's in it too. And these routes have their own anime adaptations. 2 out of 3 of these have phenomenal adaptations, as well as the prequel Fate Zero, which I won't get into here. So, where do I start? I don't know. At this point, if it gets you in the franchise, I don't care where. The events of the Holy Grail War is just a self-contained instance in this ever-expanding world. Even Tosaka herself states that the Holy Grail War was a minor ceremony. If this is a minor ceremony, I want to see the major event. Wait, that's probably Carnival Phantasm. The point is, if you're a lore buff, then you will drown in the amount of information you can find. It gets ridiculous to a point that Tosaka's tie highs probably have 20 pages worth of lore, and I won't be surprised if that's actually true. But if you don't want to do homework, then that's also fine, because the anime series is already rich with lore. The historical fantasy of who the 7 servants are, the mage families and their magecraft, the command seals, all contribute to the world building, and I just love it. Okay, the power system of Fate is a very interesting one. The servants are historical figures, meaning there is literally an instruction manual on each of their weaknesses. It's called a history book. Because of this, each servants hide behind their class names, and they have to keep their noble phantasm, which is literally their ultimate, a secret, because it's usually what made them a heroic spirit in the first place. Like Saber's Ekusu Kariba, which is a dead giveaway that she is King Arthur. So this is basically a mechanic that prevents servants from spamming their ultimates. Since Fate was based off of a game, the servants actually have stats called the parameter rules. And this is something. It's not like Nen from Hunter x Hunter or a stand from JoJo's where it's ingrained in the plot. Parameter rules are like an Easter egg that's just there in the corner. Let me simplify it. Let's say a strength of a normal person's punch is valued at 1. Saber that had an incomplete contract with Shiro has a strength parameter of B, which is valued at 40. So if an average punch have a punching force of 135 to 150 joules, then Saber punches with at least 5,400 joules. I don't know where I was going with this. Did I lose anyone because of that? Let's talk mana. The magecraft in Fate is a little questionable. Since the source material being a visual novel for adults, they have to transfer mana by...
King Arthur came a lot, didn't he?
Oh yeah!
The anime mostly removed this, but it's heavily implied. Well, if you don't care about power systems, then Fate is a visual eye candy. Other than the Dean Stay Night, Fate Zero, Unlimited Blade Works, and Heaven's Feel were all animated by Ufotable. They are the reason why Demon Slayer is such a visual spectacle. So if you enjoy good animation but you're too pretentious for Kimetsu no Yaiba, then Fate is just what you need. Aside from the animation, the characters of Fate is what makes me stay. Remember the Holy Grail War being a minor ritual? The real reason is because there was an even bigger war going on, the Great Waifu War of Saber and Rin.
What about me?
As I was saying, there was an even greater war going on with Saber and Rin. And honestly, there are no wrong answers here. Rin is a top tier waifu. One can even say she's best girl. But if Saber wasn't equally as popular, why do we have countless amounts of Sabers? They are not shallow characters either. How do I describe Saber? If I can put her driving motivation into a single word, it is not chivalry or honor, but regret. She regrets pulling the sword from the stone, and now she just wants to change history. The very fact that she was king. She fights feeling that she was not enough to her loved ones and to her kingdom. And this is quite relatable. We all have been where Saber was at one point in our lives, not quite on a scale of ruling a kingdom, but given some kind of responsibility and didn't feel like you delivered on what was expected of you. And this hits hard. As for Rin, other than being a perfect tsundere with divine thigh highs, the phrase "it is lonely at the top" comes to mind. Tosaka is talented, no doubt about that, but because of this, she has lost a lot. The path of a mage is a lonely one. Being a mage means that you are the sole successor of the knowledge built up by your family, and those who don't make the cut are discarded. So in short, if you excel in magic, you will undoubtedly end up alone. On this road of surefire loneliness, she puts up a shield, making her unapproachable. Rin is not a tsundere to check off that specific trope. She is a tsundere because life left her no choice but to be cold. And not at all an excuse for my tsundere addiction.
Seriously? What about me?
Fine. Sakura's theme is a quest of self-worth. She is a tragic byproduct of this unfortunate world of magecraft. A tragic end of those who did not make the cut. Being separated by your loved ones because you were not enough. Being taken in by another house solely based on your bloodline. Little by little, they chip away at Sakura's identity. So the question goes in her head. Just who am I? Where am I going with all these? All these turmoils gets resolved in their respective routes and it's just satisfying. I'll keep them vague so you can enjoy them yourselves. Saber has gotten used to living under the weight of huge responsibility, and now there's someone that only sees her for her and tells her she's wrong. He was not the first one to tell her, but they weren't Shiro. Saber finally realizes that she was enough, and Saber did her best, and the outcome of the past does not diminish this at all. Rin addresses that her cold and calculating personality, in her own words, is not cute at all. And Shiro and well, all the Rin stands collectively went "Objection!" And she comes to the realization as long as you don't push everyone away, it's not so lonely at the top. Shiro throws away his very ideal in order to save Sakura. This route was about selfishness, and this went well with her character arc and ultimately concludes the answer she was longing for. I am me. My god, I'm starting to sound like Shiro. Fate is complicated. I will not deny that, and it has its own problems, but if you are unfazed by the abyss, then you will find something vastly interesting and uniquely its own vibe. So I highly encourage you to try it out. You can worry about the extended universe after. Tsukihime? Just play Melty Blood. Just experimenting with this format. If you liked it, just let me know in the comment section. And an obligatory please, oh please subscribe. I need to make enough to feed my Saber Lion.